Can I sing a sentence and then you can just critique
Sure.
a little bit of it?
Sing a song.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Any celebrities you don't like their voice?
At the top of the breath, when you think you're full, you're going to take one more quick breath. So.
Hey, I'm Andrew Hales. Welcome to another edition of Chatting With. Today I'm here with Tanya.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
TanyaSolomon.com.
Yes.
Okay. And voice coach. You've been doing that about 25 years now. How does one get better at singing?
Well, it's a very interesting process, really. It's a paradox, because it comes down to very simple things, and it's all about doing less. I always tell my students it's a subtractive process, not an additive process. We're not trying to put things on the voice. We're trying to take things away to set the voice free. But within that, there's a lot of complexity, and it takes time. One of the most frustrating things I think about it for people who just start is that it really is a lot about muscle memory, and that just takes the time that it takes. Okay. So, you kind of get it in the body.
Talent, skill, you'd say it's more skill?
It's both. Yeah. Talent, I can't control what talent somebody walks in the door with. That's God-given or genetics or whatever you believe. But I do teach the skill of singing, absolutely. And that's what technique really is becoming a proficient singer. And then we see what we've got. Some people walk in and I think, wow, that's a really great natural voice. Some people walk in and I think, okay, they want to learn sing, that's great, and whatever their goals are. And sometimes we uncover a voice that I didn't really even know was there. Usually I can hear an inkling of what someone's talent is when they first start to sing.
Has anyone come in and just been completely hopeless and you refuse to try to coach them?
It would be like coaching a one-legged man to win the 100-meter sprint.
I had a student many, many years ago who came in and she was like, I want to be Mariah Carey, and she couldn't sing a 5-note scale in tune. And I thought, oh boy.
Okay.
And I worked with her for about a month, and pretty soon this really beautiful voice came out of her. And it was a real lesson for me. It was pretty early on in my teaching career, and it was a lesson to me to not make those judgments, because you don't really know. And in my experience, people will come in and tell me they're tone deaf. This is fairly frequent, and it's usually because someone kind of wounded them when they were a small child and said, you can't sing in tune, you can't carry a tune in a bucket. And people don't realize how damaging that is to the person who's having to hear that. And then it's very rare that someone actually is tone deaf. They usually just need ear training.
Well, yeah, so I've heard this, a lot of people sing in their chest, and you're supposed to sing with your stomach or something.
Yeah, so when you watch a baby in a crib breathe, you watch their belly rise and fall. And when I tell someone to take a deep breath for the first time, I usually get what I call the Mighty Mouse breath, which is kind of like, and it's all up in this bony structure, And I always have them sort of feel, and it's like, this is all bones and this is all squishy. Well, the most expansion is going to come from down here. Okay. So we really want to start inflating the lungs. You really almost think below the lungs. I tell people to sing right down into the pelvis and really sing low, so that you are expanding the rectus abdominis, which would go the full length of your torso. Okay,
so this 5-note scale, can you give me an example of that?
Sure. I mean, it's just, it's like, la 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 la. It's just a do re mi fa so, and then back down to do.
So can I do that and you tell me if I can do it?
Sure, slower than that.
All right. Okay, ready? La 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 la.
Good.
That was all.
That was in tune.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So I'm not tone deaf.
No, you are definitely not tone deaf. No, right. And most people really aren't. It's a fascinating process to teach ear training, but yeah, most people aren't. The only thing I would say is that at the end you kind of dropped what we call placement, and so it got a little like you jumped into a hole.
Okay, and usually the best way to sing is standing up, right?
Yeah, and until you get proficient at it. Obviously, in opera and musical theater, and you have to sit, stand, lie down and die, all kinds of things. but that takes sort of individual techniques to kind of adjust for that positional change.
So how many students have you had over the years?
Oh, I don't know. if I can count them all up. A lot.
Hundreds? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Any celebrities?
Oh, let's see. Any celebrities? I have someone who's studying with me now that that you would know from a very popular TV show.
American Idol.
No. No, he's an actor.
Okay.
And he also has a beautiful voice, and so we're working on developing that because he's thinking about doing more like musical theater and stuff.
Do you also help people voice acting?
You mean like voiceovers and like cartoons and that sort of thing?
Right.
Not really. Yeah,
Right.
it's more just the thing. An interesting crossover that has happened for me is I've had people who come to me who have. I'm not a speech therapist or a vocal pathologist, but I have had people come to me with those kinds of issues, like hoarseness from speaking in their day-to-day life. One kid who came to me, and her mom has the same thing, and her sister has the same thing, where they just sound hoarse and kind of like a whiskey voice all the time. It's like a natural state for them. But then she was saying to me, this cute little 9-year-old girl, and she's saying to me, my friends can never hear me because she almost sounds like she's whispering all the time. So singing and the support and the placement all help with those issues so that you're not kind of grinding on the chords and damaging yourself. So I have done sort of vocal rehab for people who have jobs where they're on the phone all day long through singing. So they kind of get two birds with one stone. They get to learn how to sing and do that for whatever their purposes are, fun or career or whatever, and then they speak better too.
All right. You heard of this screamo stuff and just like metal?
Oh, the speed metal kind of.
Yeah. Is that bad for you?
It's not something that I specialize in. I do believe there is a way to do it and not hurt yourself. I've done some reading on this kind of thing. It's not something I'm comfortable teaching. There are certain vocal effects that you can use for rock. There's kind of a growl. There are different kinds of placement, coloring the sound a certain way, supporting the sound a certain way. I certainly teach people who sing pop and rock. But that level, that feels to me like the razor's edge. You know what I mean? I think there's probably a very specific way you can do it and not rip your cords out.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. So I just focus on people who want to sing like everything else.
Okay. So the lessons last about an hour.
Yeah, for children, sometimes I do a half an hour. But yeah, an hour is really better because the vocal technique portion of it takes up about half an hour, and then the repertoire part takes up about a half an hour, and that works out nicely so that I can do the technical teaching, the pedagogy part of it, and then move into applying it to vocal repertoire and singing songs.
So the outline is these techniques. What are some of these techniques?
So they're
not to like just totally
I could tell you everything I know, and it still would be the same as a voice lesson.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's really in the practice of it. And one of the things that's really important is having a good pair of ears. And my ears are very sharp, like really nothing gets by me. So people who have taken other lessons with other teachers over the years and whatever will come to me and I'll say, hey, have you noticed you do this? And they're like, no, no one's ever said that before. So I think that's one of the things that I bring to the table is that I'm a very keen listener.
Almost like a therapist, yeah.
Yeah, I certainly consider myself a diagnostician.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then trying to figure out, okay, what can I apply to this to make this better, right? But there are certainly vocal principles that are sort of universal. Breath support, obviously one. People are usually aware that that's an issue. So proper breathing, proper support, placement.
Can I sing a sentence and then you can just critique a little bit of it?
Sing a song.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Ready? I've never it's so vulnerable, it's so scary.
It is.
Right.
I had a boyfriend that I taught some lessons to. After we were already together, and he would become like this little boy in front of me.
Yeah.
It was. It is really. Do you know what that is?
It's so different from singing alone. You know?
You know what that is? It's a very intimate thing. Our voice. Because it's our means of expression.
Yeah.
It is how we express ourselves verbally. And then when you add being vulnerable in an expressive, artistic way. It's so deep. Yeah, it's really intense. So I try and really always make people feel safe, because everybody's nervous. Everybody, no matter how many lessons they've had or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody's nervous. I always make them feel safe.
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
Okay. So I recognize it. That's a good start.
Yeah, it's a pop
Lord,
song.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
A couple of things. First of all, what I would do is I would have sheet music, and I would go over the notes with you so that you know exactly where they are. You don't have any pitch problems, but you are a little timid in terms of where the pitches go.
Lacking confidence.
Yeah, you're just not completely sure. So drilling that fixes it fast.
Okay.
So that would be the first thing I would do, is just like, okay, let's get on the same page literally and know what notes you're singing. Then and then placement issues. What happens is, I always say you have to divorce the placement from the pitch. So in other words, the pitch might be going down, but you're going to feel the sound going up. And always keep it up. And that's a very tricky thing psychologically, because you're thinking the pitch has to go there. And so you're following it, right? As opposed to the pitch has to go there.
It needs to feel
and you're
natural.
staying above it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a really big key.
So it was kind of robotic.
It was nervous, which is human.
So wait, so you have turned down some people?
No.
Or no one?
No.
You just like, all right,
I mean, I think
I'll
if someone
work with them.
came in and was really crazy,
yeah,
or seemed dangerous in some
so,
way.
yeah, you've seen American Idol, right?
Yeah.
Half of them that, I feel like, the producers are like, oh, they're gonna tear them apart, and it's like they're
creating
just
a
so
show.
oblivious about, but you think they're actors, or do you think they're really trying to sing,
I think the producers of those shows, and I always I have had students who have gone on to these shows, and I always tell them they're putting a show together for entertainment value, right? So if everybody's awesome, people aren't going to want to watch, right? They want to see the drama play out. So, those people have a job to do. They're putting together a show that people want to watch. And so sometimes they got to have people they can weed out, right? So I think that's what it's about.
What about rapping? You help any rappers? That's not really singing.
Known some. I don't think I've ever really had anybody who
it's kind of a different
did any
skill.
rapping. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the same thing would cross over in
like
terms
with
of the breathing,
tone and feeling, and
So there's a thing in opera called patter. A lot of people know it from like Pirates of Penzance. I am the very model of a modern major general, and it's like fast singing, right? So I would think that actually it's an interesting question. I hadn't thought about it. That rap would really fall into the same category of what you need to do to sing patter.
What's the best thing someone, like a general technique or exercise someone can do every day to get better?
Proper breathing. I always have a couple of breathing exercises that I give my students when they start, and that's where I just have them begin. It's amazing how the breathing gets tight. It gets in weird places. It doesn't. It needs to be really flexible and strong at the same time, and efficient. And there are a lot of qualities to just breath, and I would say that's foundational.
Can we do one right now?
Sure.
Right.
You want to do one of the exercises?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the first exercise I always give everybody is called the sipping exercise. It's easier when you're standing up, but I usually put a hand on my lower back, sort of at the bottom of my ribs, and one in the front. And then you breathe in like you're sipping air through a straw. At the top of the breath, when you think you're full, you're going to take one more quick breath. So you just breathe in, let all your air out, and then inflate your belly. Yeah.
Wait, I don't know what I'm doing.
So what that does...
Wait, so you all the air out.
Yeah, you let all the air out like this, right? And then you inflate your belly.
Well,
so you notice how your chest wants to rise? That's because you want to breathe too high. You want to breathe low. So it's in here. It's in there. Yeah. And so this is for capacity. This kind of stretches you and gets breath capacity. And the second one that I do, I always tell people it's a very serious exercise with a silly name. It's called the poof poof.
Okay.
And it goes like this.
Wait, are you sucking in?
So you breathe in, your belly comes out like you're filling a balloon. Yeah, and then blow out 2 birthday candles. So you're trying to go in, in.
Yeah.
So in and then out, out. So it's kind of like isolating different systems. So what's happening is yes, that was it.
Okay.
Right? Right.
Oh.
It's one of those things where you have to sort of separate out the threads.
You're kind of training this part.
Yes.
To help you sing.
Yeah. And then you train those muscles, and you're really creating neural pathways and really getting it
muscle memory.
Yeah. Getting it all to wake up in a different way. It feels weird, right?
Yeah. I don't think so I've kind of been breathing wrong the whole time.
Like everybody.
Yeah. And that's why I'm monotone. That's why everyone, I don't know. Could that help with that, though? Breathing that way?
Breathing will help, but that's really more of a placement issue. I would say your placement's a little low.
Placement.
So when you're speaking, you're kind of down in your throat like that, right? So I would say that it's not even a question of pitching the voice higher, because you have a deep voice, you're a big guy, that's normal. But you want to kind of feel like you're floating above your throat, not in your throat.
Not in my throat.
Right.
Like this?
Well,
like that?
Yeah, it's gonna feel
not
artificial.
In my throat. Yeah.
It's gonna feel artificial
It's almost like just a habit from early childhood.
Yeah, for most people it is.
But also, like, when I'm drunk, then I'm kind of more higher pitched. Like, hey,
Yeah.
So it's like those different.
But see, this is better already.
Personalities, you know.
Yeah, your placement's better already. Just thinking about it for a second.
Yeah, like drugs and how much sleep you got, all these different factors.
Yeah, all those factors. Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
I don't know. If you're possessed.
Yeah, that affects the voice like
totally
hugely.
Affects it.
Yeah, so
I don't
big.
take possessed dudes.
Yeah, I try to avoid those. Yeah, I don't have like an in-house exorcist or anything.
Any any celebrities you don't like their voice? That you're like, why are they even singing or whatever?
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's like such a loaded question.
It's kind of it's gossipy, but yeah.
Okay, so what I would say is that I don't feel like there are people who are famous singers who don't deserve their fame. I feel like they either worked really hard, had like a total package kind of a thing going on, are really talented.
Producer helped a lot.
Yeah, of course, it's a team.
Yeah.
I mean, every single record you hear is a team.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say I would quibble with sometimes with people's technique for sure, because I'm just kind of a stickler and obnoxious that way. I'll tell you one person that is really hot right now that I was just listening to her on the radio on the way over here.
Adele.
No, Billie Eilish.
Oh.
Billie Eilish. And I'll tell you what, I think she has a beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm.
She's just not singing. She's whispering.
Well, yeah, my sister and I were like, "What is?" He's like,
Yeah, and I mean, I love her. I think she's a really creative artist. I really like her music because I definitely am like an alt rock kind of a person.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like if people like it, they like it, you know.
Yeah. But I worry if she goes on tour. Because that much aspiration, blowing that much air through your chords, it's like imagine a flag in the wind, right? Eventually it's going to get tattered. And the vocal cords are these tiny little tissues in the throat. They're just very thin and very delicate. And if you're trying to close them together, what they call approximate the vocal cords so that you can phonate, and then you're blowing air against that and they're fighting back and forth like that, you're just going to abrade your cords. It's really dangerous.
So the exercises help avoid.
Yeah, and you can sing quietly.
Yeah.
Opera singers sing quietly. It's one of the neatest tricks we do.
You see Hamilton?
I have not seen Hamilton.
I think that's coming soon.
I think I gotta do it.
Have you heard it yet?
Yeah, I've had students bring it in. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you give me an example of some of your opera singing?
Oh, okay. You want me to perform?
Put you on the spot, kind of. Yeah.
Sure.
Sweet. Yeah.
Sure. So something that everybody knows, especially from these kinds of shows. Oh mio bambino caro, mi piace
was crazy. Yeah, I could not. I could never do that.
Never say never.
Okay, ready? I've never seen a dime. So I think it helps if I'm just a little louder, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, but use your abs a little bit.
Oh yeah, all right. It's like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So use those abs. So the support's going to be a little tuck in.
All right.
Like you pull your navel in a little bit.
Well, I'm like, all right. I've never seen a like that. No.
This way. I've never seen a diamond in the rough.
I've never seen.
You're trying too hard.
All right, yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna pretend you're not here. Okay, hold on.
That's good.
I've never seen a diamond. Hold on, let me get some water here.
Yeah. It's good. A little mucus on the cords. A little phlegm.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
Okay, so that's better. Yeah. I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. Don't. You can think the pitch, but don't think you're going down with it.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
Better.
Yeah.
You feel it?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
Okay, so you just
No,
modulate
that
it.
was yeah.
That's okay. I mean, we can
Oh,
pick
man.
a key if you want.
That's funny. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies.
That's better. Yeah, the movies got a little to it. Movies. A little brighter on the vowel.
All right. What's the most damaging thing to your vocal cords? Is just singing, like the kind of the way Billie Eilish sings?
No, I mean, like, I had a student who would go and visit her family back east, and they're all loud Italians, and she would be yelling over them all the time, and that's pretty damaging to have to be sort of yelling. I think anybody, even with great technique, if you're yelling a lot, it can hurt your voice for sure. Smoking is terrible for your voice. I mean, it just is.
Even weed?
Yeah, anything where you're taking smoke in. Yeah, edibles, dude.
You're like, yes, dumbass. Okay. Have you been to a singer or wait? Do you have been born? Yeah, everyone. That's like the most common one. Is it's like, do you have to be with talent or skill? Yeah. Or you have to be. Do you have to be born with a talent?
I'll tell you a story from my own personal experience. I always sang and whatever, and my mom, who I adore her, and she's one of my best friends, and my number one fan now. It took her about 7 years to believe that I could sing opera.
Really?
Yeah. Because I didn't have the technique, and I kept telling her, like, Pavarotti didn't come out of the womb singing like that, like it takes work. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, why don't you just, do something else? And now she's my number one fan, and she's like, okay, you were right,
Wow.
you knew that voice was in there. I could hear it in my own head, sort of, I knew there was something in there that I needed to kind of unlock. And most people know what their authentic voice sounds like on
Wait,
some
so
level.
it took you about 7 years to
Have training.
Before, like, what was, I guess, your big break, or you got like a play or something?
I was always performing throughout that time, but it was just this one particular concert or whatever, and I had just sort of gotten to a point technically where the voice had opened up, and my mom kind of was like, oh, there it is. That's what she was talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. So it can take time, and it depends on your teachers and whatnot. I had different teachers throughout the years, and some were more helpful than others.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Check out TanyaSolomon.com. Any other info? Do you have an Insta or anything you want?
Yeah, I'm on Insta at Singing Your Dream, I guess it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I'll just
super active on there, but I do have it up, and I have a Facebook page too, Tanya Solomon.
Sweet.
Voice teacher.
Well, check out all of Tanya's info in the description. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you next week. Joy to the wild. Ooh, do you hear that?
Getting there.
Joy. The fuck was that?